Right.
Hare Krishna, good evening. Welcome to the systematic study course of Gita. We are on chapter 1. Let us start the session today. I start by offering obeisances to my Guru Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and my Shiksha Guru, Gaur Vilas Prabhuji. With Lord Jagannath's blessing, let's immerse ourselves into chapter 1. We will be starting, this is part 4, verses 28 to 35. A quick recap of what we have studied so far. We have done verses 1 to 12, preparation for war. We have done verses 12 to 20, signs of victory for the Pandavas. Arjuna observes the army, that was section 3. Krishna is Bhaktavatsala. And today we'll be starting the second part of chapter 1, that is Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Arjuna's bewilderment, and 5 reasons not to fight. We also have seen that this chapter has an acronym doubt. D stands for Dhritarashtra Duryodhana, O for ominous result, U for uncertainty, B for bewilderment, and T for turning point. If we divide this, you have Sainya Niriksha Yoga, which we have completed, and we'll be starting Arjuna Vishada Yoga from today. With this, let's move. Yeah, this is highlighting that this is the second part of chapter 1, and that is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Let's, as we do normally, start with a recap. Where did we end in the last class? So Prabhuji closed the last class when verse 1.27. What does the verse read as? Tan samikshya sakaunteya sarvan bandun avastitan krupaya paraya visto visidan idam abravit. So Arjuna becomes overwhelmed with compassion. As students of Gita, we must now start feeling the emotions of Arjun on the battlefield. Then we will enjoy the Gita session even more. So, tan samikshasa kaunteya. What does it mean? It says Arjuna saw all of them, whom his entire relatives on the battlefield. Sarvan bandun avastita. All kinds of relatives together. If you recollect in the last classes, we had said 5 generations of relatives were together, assembled on the battlefield. Krupaya paraya visto. Krupa generally means mercy, but krupaya refers to compassion. It goes beyond mercy. So Arjuna is overwhelmed with compassion. Visidan idam abravit. He starts lamenting and speaks the next verse. So this is where we ended last class. So today we will go to the next section. This is the starting of Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Now, before we really get into the verse, I just thought we must see how Gita is so important for the entire universe. Normally, if we as living beings suffer Vishada, depression, despondency, despair, what does it result in? It results in Roga, disease. But just see what did Arjuna experience when he went through bewilderment, despair, and despondency. When he went through Vishada, he ends up finally in yoga. So the greatest lesson for all of us is if you study Gita, we will also not end up in Roga, we will end up in yoga, where we are going back to our roads, we are going to connect with the Supreme Lord. It's the beauty, essence of understanding what Gita is trying to tell us. So, with this, let's look at section 2. It's called bewilderment. Let's look at the first verse for the day. Oh, no, before that, I'll give you a what are the 5 reasons of Arjuna? So, it's not just Arjuna says, Oh, Krishna, I don't want to fight. That was not the case. He was a learned person, he was the best archer in the world, and he is well versed in Shastras. So he said, Oh Krishna, I don't want to fight because of these 5 reasons. What were these? Compassion, attachment. It's also called as raga in Sanskrit. Second reason is I don't see any enjoyment in victory, hence I don't want to fight. What does it come under? It comes under grief and shoka. So these two we will cover in today's class. And delusion, moha, indecision. We will see in the next class when Prabhuji will walk us through. So with this context and the last 1.44 to 46 verses, Arjuna is grief stricken and he decides not to fight. Let's go to the first verse of the day. Very important verse. This starts setting the tone for how emotions affect Arjuna. Let me read the verse. Arjuna Vacha Društve Mam Swajanam Krishna Yuyutsam Samupastitam Sidhanti Mama Gatrani Mukam Cha Parishushyati. So, what do we see here? He is calling Krishna by his name, Krishna. And this is the reaction of Arjuna after seeing his relatives on the battlefield. So, we are in that scenario, that scene. First time Arjuna is calling Krishna by his name, Krishna. He has called him Keshava, he has called him Madhava, we have seen all those names, but now in chapter 1, for the first time, Arjuna calls Krishna by Krishna. And every time Arjuna calls Krishna by a name, there is a lot of context to that. It's not just that he decides today, now I'll call him Krishna. No, there is a meaning behind that, which our acharyas have beautifully deciphered. Why does Arjuna call him Krishna? Now, what does Krishna mean? Krish means supreme. Na means bliss. So Arjuna is saying to the Lord, your name is Krishna. You are the best giver of happiness to the entire universe. So why are you asking me to wage this war? That's how this verse starts. Drushtve Mam. Drushtve Mam means I can see all of my relatives in front of me on the battlefield. And there is a very important meaning of Drushtve we will see in the next slides. Swajanam Krishna. These are all my people, Krishna. Yuyutsam Samupastitam. Yuyutsa means warriors who are present before me with a will to fight. They have made up their mind that we are going into this battlefield to fight, do or die. Sidanti mama gatrani. Now comes the physical reaction. Emotions affect physically. My limbs are becoming weak because of this. Mukam cha parishyasati, and my mouth is drying up. Let's look at what is the change happening. I said this is a very important verse because we see the impact of emotions in shaping our actions. So we should remember that we are a human being is an emotional being, and our actions are guided by our emotions. We feel happy if we are in a positive mode. We feel unhappy if we are in a negative mode. So every emotion affects our action, and every action affects our destiny. And that's what is happening to Arjuna. In the previous verse, Arjuna said, Krupaya paraya visto visidan idam abravit. I am overwhelmed by compassion, and he started lamenting. Now, what is the change in Arjuna? And that is what Acharya says as students of Gita, we must try to connect and relate to. Arjuna arrived on the battlefield as a normal world's best archer, fully geared up to fight and give his best. He wanted to win. But just see how the changes start overwhelming him. As the events unfolded, as he saw his relatives in front of him, he became overwhelmed. He was swept away by his emotions. That is what we should be understanding. And what is that change in emotion? If I were to say, see, when he entered the battlefield with Krishna on a great looking white chariot, he says in 1.23, Dhartarashtrasya Durbuddhe. He says, I want to see who are those relatives who have assembled on this battlefield who are supporting evil minded Dhritarashtra. That was his starting point. And what was his focus at that time? He says, I want to see these relatives who have chosen to ally with Duryodhana. This was like any other warrior on the battlefield. Just 5 verses down the line, as he sees the relatives, as he tells Krishna, pull my chariot into the middle of the arm between the two armies so that I can see clearly. At that stage, now he's on the in the middle portion of the battlefield. He can see both Kaurava and Pandava armies, and there is a change in him that he says, Swajanam Krishna. Look at the change from who are the allies of evil men, Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana. He is now come to saying, oh Krishna, I want to see Swajanam Krishna. Who are these people? They are my relatives. Yes, they could be allied with Duryodhana, but they are still my relatives, and I have to kill them. So this is the change that is happening in Arjuna. And what is this change happening due to? Because of emotions. So we must also understand that most of the times our actions are not just driven by facts. They are driven by emotions when the facts start getting mixed up. And what happens when you're emotional? You know, when you get angry, what happens? You start yelling, your face becomes red. We are completely into a different, what you can say, situation. And how do we see the change in a person? By his body reactions. So Arjuna is also going through the same thing. His limbs are quivering, mouth is drying up, physical symptoms of anxiety, guilt, and avoidance. So this is the change that is all happening to Arjuna. Now, here, Srila Prabhupada comes out with a wonderful explanation. He says, just because Arjuna is bewildered, just because his mouth is drying up, limbs are quivering. Yes, these are all physical symptoms of a man bewildered, but do not mistake this to be due to his weakness. He continues to be the world's best archer. That's not in question. What is the most important thing for us to understand is Arjuna is a pure devotee. He is overwhelmed by soft heartedness. That is the essence of understanding this verse. He is calling his relative Swajanam Krishna not because of fear for his life or what the heck would happen in the battlefield. How can I face them? No, he doesn't have any of those dilemmas. He is a pure devotee. He is overcome by compassion. Then I mentioned to you in the beginning, Dushtve Mam Swajanam Krishna. We have understood Swajanam Krishna is the change that is happening in Arjuna. What does this Drishtve Mam show? See, in the last 6 verses, if you count from 1.21, Arjuna has continuously used this word about seeing. What does he say in 1.21? He says Niriche. In 1.23, he says Avekshe. In 1.25, he says Pashya. In 1.26, he says Apashyat. In 1.27, Samiksha. 1.28, Drush. That is where we are. So, what is the highlight of understanding? Why is this word being used by Sanjaya, by Arjuna continuously? It highlights the power of what we see. Yes, we all understand what we see makes an impact, but what you see can also completely alter you. That is what we have seen undergoing, that Arjuna underwent, starting from saying, I want to see who are there on the battlefield. In the next few minutes, he says, they are all my relatives, O Krishna. This is the change that is happening in Arjuna. And this can happen to any of us. It's not that it is only happening to Arjuna. How do we take this forward? What should we do? Let's look at the next verse. It's here, the verse says, let me have a sip of water. वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षस्य जायते गाण्डीवं श्रंसते हस्तात् त्वच्चैव परिधीयते. Now, Arjuna is expressing profound distress. He is really overwhelmed by compassion. His heart is affected. And as I said, this fear This change, this bewilderment is not about his life defeat in the battlefield. No, it has got nothing to do with any of this. He is as confident as he was before. It is just that he is overwhelmed by the fact, by the thought of multiple generations of relatives will be wiped out in this war. And that is what is affecting him so severely. Emotional and physical reactions are intimately connected. And this is what we must understand as we go through these verses. This can happen to us, this will happen to us most of the times than not. Now, in this verse, he says, Gandivam Shramshate Hastat. This is another significant development. Why? It's not just about physical reactions. Now there is something more than that happening. For a warrior like Arjuna, a weapon is like his limb. He will fight to his best ability to ensure that nothing happens to his any part of his limb or body. So Gandiva is nothing but his bow and arrow as inherent, as intrinsic as his own limb. And Arjuna is now saying, Gandivam Shramsate Hastat. My bow and arrow is slipping from my hands. So that is a severe change. It's not just emotionally, you may look upset, but this is not just upset. It is now really reflecting in his own bow and arrow slipping from his hands. This is in addition to all that we saw. Bow is one second. Roma harshasya jayate. My hairs are standing on end. Veputushta sharire me. My whole body is trembling. Roma harshasya jayate. My hairs are standing on end. These are all happening. Then he says, Gandivam shramsate hastat. Gandiva bow is slipping from my hand. Tvakchaiva paridhyate. My skin is burning. Now, this is the change which is overwhelming Arjuna. Let's look at this in form of a uh, arrow diagram so that we really understand what is happening, which we are reading and listening to, and why is it happening, what could be the reasons, as Acharya has explained to us. We have seen this. He is physically affected, body trembling, hair standing on end. Yes, we understand this. Now the question is, why is it happening? There are two possibilities. It could happen because of great spiritual ecstasy, which do not cause any fear. Now, we are all clear that we have not seen any spiritual ecstasy in Arjuna. He's still on the battlefield and he's going through these emotions. So then this could be due to loss of life, which we discussed. No, Arjuna continues to be bold, brave, and capable because of the material conception of life. He still is relating to his relatives at the material level. He is not at the spiritual level. That is the reason why all these physical reactions are happening, because he is emotionally upset. But yes, all of us can be physically upset like Arjuna. All of us may go through bewilderment. But what is outstanding in this thing is Arjuna is still not like any of us, but the conditioned jiva. He is still qualified because he has compassion. He is thoughtful. Of course, he does have perplexity. He does need to consult. He does need to get advice, which is applicable to all of us and Arjuna too. But he is submissive. And these are the qualifications of a true devotee. We may go through all these turmoil, but we must ensure that we are firmly grounded. What is that possible? How can it happen? By being submissive, by being compassionate, by being thoughtful. Question yourself, why is this happening? So, verses 29 and 30 have shown us that however great you could be, material conditions can create perplexity, which is very, very important. Do not get overwhelmed. And why is this happening? It is because we are still rooted in material conception of mind, life. And what is the material consumption? Mine, I, my relatives. What will I do? How will I survive? As long as we are rooted in I and mind, we will go through the same thing that Arjuna went through. Now, why is this cause of fearfulness? And that too happening to a great devotee like Arjuna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, this is the verse which says, Bhayam Vityabhiniveshataha syad. Isad apetasya viparyayo smutihi tanmayayato buddha avajetam. Bhaktyai guru devatma. Verse is very complicated. The translation is very simple. It says, this fearfulness and loss of equilibrium takes place in a person who affected by material conditions. So that is the key. We should not allow the material condition to affect us to the extent that has happened to Arjuna on the battlefield. Learning, if I were to summarize, material situations create complexity. If we are rooted in the material conception of life, what is the material conception? The feeling, the thought saying, this is me, I, this is mine. That is the material conception of life. We have come with nothing in this world. We will go back with nothing in this world, from this world. So there is nothing which is mine. I own nothing. I did not own anything. I will not own anything. So where is the question of being upset, being bewildered? But this is easier said than done. It could take lifetimes for us to come to this level of detachment. We are here as human beings. Being is being at the present. There is no past which is already gone. There is no future because it's not in our hands. That is what we should try to get ourselves into awareness. Stop this I and mine to the extent possible. Then we will start moving towards the spiritual knowledge, spiritual awareness. Let's move. And I thought, let me show this a light-hearted humor coming from heavy philosophy. This is the lock on cartoon. It says, if ignorance is bliss, Leroy, why aren't you happier? So, this is what we should ask ourselves. Just because we don't know, does it make us more happy? No. We must make an attempt as humans, try and understand that there is a limitation to being living in this material conception of life. We must try, explore, evaluate, reach out to something beyond material conception of life. Let's go to the next verse. Another interesting verse. Nacha saknomi avastatum brahmativa cha me manaha nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava. What does this say? Nacha saknomi avastatum. I am unable to stand here any longer. So now Arjuna is making a statement which very clearly gives us an indication of what is going to come next in the following verses. Brahmativa cha me manaha. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. Severe physical reactions. It's continuing. Brahmativa cha manaha, cha me manaha. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. Nimittani cha pashyami. I see only causes of misfortune and opposite results. O Krishna, killer of Kesi demon, Keshi. That is why he's saying Viparitani Keshava. So we have seen in the last verses, he said Krishna, now he's saying Keshava. And what is the beauty of studying Gita is to understand the interconnections, interlinkages when Arjuna is calling Krishna by a new name. So now we will in this verse see what is the essence of Arjuna calling Krishna by the name Keshava. So, what is happening overall in this verse? Arjuna is speaking, he is expressing to Krishna, I am unable to maintain my composure. I am no longer having that balance of mind. I am completely disturbed. And he says, I am only able to see causes of misfortune going ahead. This war is not going to give us anything good. They are all bad omens, and you can see so many things happening to me physically. Hmm. Let's see how Acharya has described, and I have picked up this from His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He has given a wonderful acronym. He says, what is happening to Arjuna, and which can happen to all of us, is can be summarized by this acronym QUEST. What is QUEST? QUEST, Q stands for quandary. Says our life, like Arjuna's, is significantly shaped up by decisions. What decisions we make is going to decide our destiny. Now, this what is the quandary that Arjuna is facing? He is facing the ethical quandary. We could have existential quandary. We could have so many challenges that will come to us, which will put us in this. We don't know what to do. That is the quandary. U stands for universality. What is important in life, many a times, most of the times, we find it challenging to decide. What matters most? Is it material gain or is it relationships? Looks simple, isn't it? But are we really able to make that choice, make the decision all the time? Very difficult. If Arjuna is facing this dilemma and is going through such a turmoil, just imagine what would be our position if we were in the same situation as Arjuna. Emergency. The moment I say the word emergency, what comes to our mind is we must act immediately. Sorry. But actually, this is not the solution all the time. Whenever, whenever we see this word emergency, whenever we say there's an emergency, we must realize that this situation is an emergency because we don't know what to do. So, action can happen only if we know what we should do. If we don't know what to do, then you are in an emergency situation. Why am I saying this? It's like this. You are the world's most qualified doctor, and you come across a patient who is critically ill. Can you treat the patient if you do not know what is the right diagnosis? And this world's best doctor is in a emergency situation because he has to treat the patient, but he doesn't know what is the right diagnosis. What will help this patient recover? This is an emergency situation. What is required is humility. It is not action. Humility to realize that I don't know what I should do. And when you know that, then comes the awareness of how can I consult? How can I seek help to come out of this emergency situation? So it is not immediate action, it is deep humility. That is what Gita teaches us. Sorrow. Sorrow is the best spur, the best force to drive us to spiritual knowledge, to seek spiritual knowledge, because we are overwhelmed, we are bewildered, we are helpless, just like what Arjuna is. So that sorrow is not something we should look down upon. We should take that as a blessing because it pushes us towards going away from this material conception towards spiritual awareness, thoughtfulness. Imagine, even in this grave bewilderment, challenging emergency situation that Arjuna is, what is Arjuna doing? Yes, he is overwhelmed by compassion, that is emotions. But he is not fearing for his own life. That's yet another standout qualification we should imbibe, learn. We should not allow the fear of self to overwhelm us. We should allow the fear of others to overwhelm us. That is what Krishna loves. He, as Arjuna, is not choking under pressure. He is under pressure, but he is demonstrating readiness, saying that I will seek solutions. He is evaluating, contemplating, even under pressure. That is thoughtfulness. So, if we can go through this step by step acronym and reach this stage of thoughtfulness, we will also find a solution like Arjuna did. This is how Acharya has explained this verse. So, look at what is happening in this verse. It is by Krishna's will that Arjuna is going through this situation. He is so fortunate because he is the chosen one, because Krishna wanted to give the knowledge of Gita to Arjuna. He put him in this quandary, he put him in this quest situation, and through that gives us the lesson of Gita. What is happening to Arjuna? As we have seen, he is forgetting himself. He sees only misfortune ahead of him. He says, I'm not going to be happy even after winning. We will see in the next verses. All of this is happening because of excessive material attachment. Me and mine. That is our weakness. That is the weakness of mind. When you are in this situation, if you operate in the material conception, fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium is the only gift that we can obtain. If we start making that attempt to change ourselves from this material conception to spiritual conception of life, that's where the change, the subtle change, can start happening in all of us, as it is going to happen with Arjuna. Now we have to see the last two words, nimittani viparitani. When you get into the situation like Arjuna did, and this applies to all the living entities. Srila Prabhupada wonderfully explains in the purport. He says, this happens when a jiva is interested only in himself and his own welfare. Prabhupada says, this is not our purpose of life. We are not here for grieving about ourselves, about what is going to happen to me, what is going to happen to my relatives. No, that is not our main purpose of life. If you are going to do this, if you're going to believe in this, all that is going to come your way is suffering, like Arjuna is suffering. Our fundamental purpose, Srila Prabhupada says, there's only one real interest of any jiva is to serve Krishna. If we have this anchor foundation right, everything will fall in place. Whatever be the sorrow, we will find a way to overcome that sorrow. And Arjuna has called Krishna as Keshava. We will see why is that so. And this is the beauty of listening to Gita. Our acharyas make it so interesting, basically because they tell us the inherent interlinkages of why Arjuna called Krishna as Keshava. One of the meaning of this word is killer of KC demon. Most of us know this reason. And why did Arjuna call Krishna as Keshava? Because he is expecting unconsciously within his mind, I want Krishna to remove the demon of my doubts. This is why Arjuna thought, I will call him Keshava. But this is not the only meaning of Keshava. Let me share what Acharyas have said, another couple of more meanings as to why Arjuna is calling Krishna as Keshava. First reason is we all know that this Gita uh, Bodhana happened on the battlefield on an Ekadashi day in the month of Margashira. In Sanskrit, this Tithi, Ekadashi Tithi, is known as Keshava Tithi. That is one more reason why Arjuna calls Krishna as Keshava. It is Keshava Tithi. On that day, Krishna spoke Gita, Arjuna. And why is he saying Keshava? He says, Oh Lord, you are giving me this wonderful discourse on such an important tithi. Why are you wanting me to engage in this ghastly war? That is what his question in his mind. Why when he calls Krishna as Keshava? There is another meaning. This is even more interesting. K Keshava Ke stands for Brahma. Sa stands for Shiva. Va stands for Vapu, Vishnu. So the word Keshava has Brahma and Shiva in the word. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, O Keshava, will you ask Shiva and Brahma who are within you to fight with their own relatives? Will Brahma lift his own weapon against his four Kumaras who are his sons? That is the question that Arjuna has in his mind. Then the last meaning is even more wonderful. Vishwanath Chakravarti says Keshava means Kesh Vinyasya Karoti iti Keshava. Why did the Lord get this name? He combs Radharani's hair with his own hands and braids it. That is why he is called Keshava. Arjuna says, you are doing the work of adorning Radharani's hair. Why do you want me to engage in this ghastly war and kill my own relatives? So these are the hidden meanings, interlinkages in the word Keshava. So every time Arjuna calls Krishna by a new name, as students of Gita, we should have our antenna up to say that I want to see, I want to study and find out what is the meaning in that. Going forward, we are coming to we have finished the first part, we are coming to the second part. No enjoyment in fighting this war. So if you go here, this is the turning point. From here, the whole thing takes a turn. What we expected Arjuna to do when he entered the battlefield and what he ends up doing are completely different. Let's go through and enjoy this verses. न च श्रेयो अनुपश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनम अहावी न कांक्षे विजयम कृष्णा न च राज्यम सुखानि च. Arjuna continues to describe his situation. He says, Na cha shreyo anupashyami. I do not see any good coming from this battle. The word pashyami is repeated here. We have seen this. Here, we can slightly go deeper, say that it is showing intellectual in uh, he is intellectually interpreting this as an insight. He is not just seeing, he has seen his relatives on the battlefield, but now he's giving a intellectual, he's using his intelligence to analyze what could be happening, what can happen by this assembly of relatives on the battlefield. Shreya. Now, Shreya is a very, very important word. Just imagine thoughtfulness of Arjuna. Prayers is short term. Prayers at best can mean I am on the battlefield, I win the war. This is prayers. Shreyas is slightly long term. Long, what will happen after the war? So Arjuna on the battlefield is not looking at short term, he's looking at long term. Can you just give me a minute? Someone is knocking the door. Just a minute. I'm in a meeting. Sorry, the housekeeping staff. So he is focusing on what is going to happen after the war. That is why he's saying, Hatva Swajanam Ahavi. What will happen, O Krishna, after my killing my own kinsmen, my own relatives on the battlefield? And who are the relatives? We have all seen grandfather, teacher, so all near and dear to Arjuna. Yes. And at Arjuna's level, this is profound and entirely valid. Na kangshe vijayam Krishna. He says, "Oh dear Krishna, it is like if I were to, let's take an example to understand what Krishna is saying. If I were to be participating in the World Cup and I play well and win the World Cup, but if this entire world will be destroyed when I'm winning the World Cup, what is the joy? Is there any joy left? Who's there to celebrate? Who is there to appreciate?" So this is what Arjuna says, Hatva Swajanam Ahavi. Who is there to celebrate my victory? Na Kangshe Vijayam Krishna, na cha Rajyam Sukani cha. So he says, nor do I desire happiness that comes from possessing a kingdom. So he says, there is no point in killing my relatives, and there is no joy for me if I want to win this kingdom. Even at this stage, Arjuna is at the material conception of life. The only difference, he is far ahead of any of us because he says, I don't want mere material possessions, but I want to focus on my relationships, which are far more important to me than material possession like winning a kingdom. And he's using the word Swajanam twice. First time in 1.28 and now in this verse. Let's look at the underlying philosophy in this verse. Now, Kshatriya dying on a battlefield under Krishna's order is equivalent to a sannyasi following renounced order of life, worshipping Krishna. So, it is not in any way lesser than a sannyasi who's worshipping Krishna when you're fighting this battlefield for Krishna at Kurukshetra. Both of them are eligible to enter the highest planets. Yeah, because if you fight and lose your life on the battlefield, you are a martyr. Now, this is spiritual knowledge. Arjuna, till now, is not operating at the spiritual level. He is at the material level. No, Arjuna is a Kshatriya. His role, his duty is to protect people. But what is happening? He is getting distracted. He's attracted by bodily relationships, just like any of us, the conditioned jiva. Of course, as we saw, this is all happening because of Krishna's will. But if you are at the material conception, what happens? You develop an attachment. You don't want to kill your own relatives. And then you feel there will be no happiness, even if I were to win the war. Hence, I'm not willing to fight. So if you have a wrong thought, you will take the wrong decision. And he says, better to retire to forest. There is a good analogy here. The analogy is the same position as Arjuna. I'm not hungry, so I'm not going to cook. Is that going to really take you far? That's the question that we all must ask ourselves. And Arjuna also internally is having the same question. I'm saying I'm not going to fight, but is it really the best solution? The best solution lies in listening to what Krishna has to advise. Now, in this, there is a big learning. What Arjuna is suffering emotionally are not just relationship problems. It is mainly rupture of human heart from divine heart. The more the distance between us and Krishna, we are going to go through the same situation. As we try to bridge the distance between our heart and the divine heart, bring Krishna closer and closer, put him in our heart, position him in our heart, cement him in our heart, we are going to be in a far better situation. Let's go to the next verse. Kim no rajyena govinda, kim bhogair jivitena va, esam arte kangshitam no, rajyam bhoga sukani cha. So Krishna, the first thing, whenever you read a verse, the, the attention should go to, oh, Arjuna is calling Krishna by another new name. And in this verse, he's calling him as Govinda. That is the first thing. Let's look at the translation. Nacha saknomi avastatum. I am unable to stand here any longer. Krishna, he's now providing reasons. One is I can't stand. Now he's saying why I cannot stand. What are the reasons? Kimno Rajyena Govinda. He's asking Govinda, what use is this kingdom to me? Kim Bhogair Jivitene. Wow, what is the happiness will I gain from winning this kingdom? Yesam Arte Kankshitam. No. The question is, who are the people with whom I'm going to showcase my victory? He's asking this question. He says, in the past, whenever I used to come successful after winning a war, after a victory, I used to come and share that joy with my relatives, with Bhishma Pitamaha, with Dronacharya. Today, and they used to applaud me and say, well, Arjuna, you've done a wonderful job. Today, who is going to applaud if I win this war? Because I'm going to kill these same relatives. Rajyam Bhoga Skancha. For whom I should desire this pleasure, victory, and kingdom. So this is the change, this is the thought which is consuming Arjuna from within. And most importantly, human beings are always attracted by reciprocal action, reciprocal reaction. When I do something, you give me something in return. This is how our human life, human relationships defined are designed. So, if there is no reciprocation, there is no point, there is no joy. And this is what Arjuna is trying to say. He says, if I win the war, there is no one to applaud, there is no one to celebrate. Well, what do I get in return? Why should I get into this war at all? Because in his mind, there is no reciprocal reaction possible by this victory. He's calling Krishna as Govinda. We all know, yes, the definition is object of all pleasures for the cow and the senses. Let's go through this, how this has come about. Govinda. The first two letters are Go. Go means cows. Go means senses. Thus, Govinda is the one who gives pleasure to the senses, to the cows, essentially to entire mankind. Arjuna is wondering, Govinda, you are the one who gives bliss, pleasure, happiness to the entire universe. But look at the contrast. You are asking me to go and indulge in this ghastly war. Why? And his hope, his expectation internally, he's not saying this to anyone. Acharya has explained that Arjuna is saying, oh Govinda, please understand what is happening to me, what dilemma I am going through. I don't want to kill my own relatives. So please solve this for me because you are Govinda. But this is the wrong conception. The right conception is Lord will satisfy only to the extent we deserve, not what we desire. This is the right conception. And if we satisfy Govinda's senses, our senses will automatically get satisfied. This is the spiritual conception of life. If we move away from material conception, we will come to this stage, and that is what is the learning for us in this verse. Let's go to the next verse. Ta ime avastitam yuddhe pranam tyaktva dhanani cha acharya pitara putraha tataiva cha pitamaha. Now Arjuna is very clearly saying in this verse, I am reluctant to fight. And he says this by saying, Taime vastita yuddhe. They, I am here for the purpose of fighting. Pranam tyaktva dhananicha. The entire relatives who are in front of me are here to give up their life, wealth, everything. But I am disturbed. I want to hold myself back. Why? Because of this reason. I see in front of me Acharya, Pitra, Putra. Who are these? They are my relatives. Who are those relatives? Teacher, my grandfather, and all other close relatives. Then he says, Tataiva cha pitamaha. So all my close relatives are on the battlefield, and just see the difference between what is happening to one second. Why is this not working? When Duryodhana saw the army in front of him, he gleefully described that there are so many warriors who are assembled on the battlefield to give up their life for me. This is what Duryodhana. Duryodhana was driven by what I will gain from this battle. This difference between Arjuna. Both of them are from the same family, both are cousins, but you see what is happening to Arjuna. Arjuna is looking at the same relatives and he says, how can I kill my own grandfather, my own teacher? Arjuna and Duryodhana both are not at the level of soul. Both are not operating at the spiritual conception of life. Both are ignorant, but still Arjuna has a higher qualification because he shows higher level of compassion. Let's go to the next verse. Matula Sasura Pautra Syala Sambandina Stata Etanna Hantum Ichami Snatupi Madhusudana. First reason point is Arjuna is calling Krishna by another new name, that is Madhusudana. And so, from the last verse, Arjuna continues listing his relatives. Now he is adding to whatever is described in the last words. Pautra Putra. Now he says Matula Swasura Pautra. And if you see, Sanjaya earlier also had described the same list of relatives to Dhritarashtra in verse 1.26. So both Arjuna and Sanjaya are describing to us who are the relatives on the battlefield. There is a similarity, there is a difference. What is the similarity? Acharya Pitra Putra Stataiva cha Pitamaha Matula Sosura Pautraha. Till here, both of them are describing the same relatives. But if you see in this verse, Arjuna is not using Bhatran, Sakims, Surudas, well-wishers. He is saying Syala Sambandhina Stataha. Syala means brother-in-law and other relatives. So if you see the subtle difference between what Sanjaya described and what Arjuna described, is that Arjuna is sticking to very close family members. He's not talking about the broader community. Why is he describing this family? Why is he describing the relatives as though we are not aware? It has been told to us in the earlier stages itself. It is just to put pressure on Krishna, saying that I don't want to fight. Etan hantum ichchani. I do not desire to fight because they are my relatives. Nato pi madhusudana. You are the person who looks after the entire universe. I don't want to indulge in this battlefield to kill my own relatives. And why did you get this name Madhusudana? Because you killed the Asura named Madhu. Now, again, this is a wonderful story. Two Asuras were born, and their names were Madhu and Kaitaba. And how did they come into being? From the wax from the ears of Vishnu. And at that time, when they were born, Brahma was gaining knowledge. Creation had not happened. So it was very, very early stages. We had Vishnu, we had Brahma, and we had these two Asuras. What is an Asura is a demon. He always has a demonic tendency. What did he do? These two indulge in the mischief of stealing away the Vedas from Brahma. The entire knowledge repository of this universe was stolen away by these two demons. And how did they steal that? They stole the memory of Brahma. And Brahma runs to Krishna and says, "Oh Krishna, the entire knowledge in form of these Vedas are stolen by Madhu and Kaitava. What do I do?" For every problem, there is a solution with Krishna. Krishna says, "You don't worry, I will take care." He appears before the demons and he mesmerizes them to such an extent that they, out of their sheer ego, say, "Oh Vishnu, we are very happy to see what you have done, what you have shown. Please ask us any boon that you want." Imagine it's like a child holding a torch to the sun. The demons are offering a boon to the creator of this universe. Krishna laughs and says, "I accept. Please give me the boon." And what is the boon? "I want to kill both of you." And this demon, the Asuras, Madhu and Kaitaba, were quite intelligent. They knew that yes, we have gotten into this problem, which is due to our own creation. But a word given is a word given. They say, "Yes, Krishna, we give you this boon. There is only one condition. That condition is you should not kill us wherever there is water." And understand how clever these demons were. Why did they ask this? Because creation had not happened, and this entire universe was filled with water. Krishna is Krishna. He says, "Fine, I will grant whatever you have asked. I will kill you, but I will not kill you where there is water." What does he do? He puts them on his laps and kills them. That is how Krishna got the name Madhusudana. Let's come to the last verse. Yeah. Now, Krishna, we know Madhusudana, he's called the killer of demon Madhu. And why is Arjuna calling him Madhusudana, hoping that Krishna will kill his doubts? For Arjuna, his doubts are like demons. So he says, "Oh Krishna, you are Madhusudana, kill all my doubts, which are like demons in me." But Krishna is Krishna. What is Krishna thinking? "Arjuna, I am expecting you to kill your relatives and not your doubts." That is the way we have to understand. We go to the next and the last verse. "Api त्रैलोक्य राज्यस्य हेतु किं नु मही कृते निहत्य धतराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीति स्वच जनार्दना." "Api त्रैलोक्य राज्यस्य." Even for gaining a kingdom of the three worlds, heto kim nu mahi krute, it is not worth fighting with my own relatives. Nihatya dhritarashtraan naha. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, when he says Dhritarashtran, it means all the sons of Dhritarashtra, which is an inclusive verse. Instead of saying 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, he's calling them as Dhritarashtra san. Ka priti syat Janardana. What pleasure will I get, O Janardana? What is there to gain in it? I don't want to fight. Now, in Mahabharata, it is said, for the sake of a family, one family member may be sacrificed. For the sake of a village, family may be sacrificed. For the sake of a kingdom, a village might be sacrificed. But for the sake of the soul, the entire world may be sacrificed. This is what we should understand. This is what Arjuna is also trying to understand. At this time, he doesn't have this awareness. Even in Bible, it says, "What profit the person if he gains the whole world but loses his eternal soul?" So this is what is the essence we should understand. With that, yeah. What is Arjuna's material calculation? "I cannot share the opulence of winning this war. So I don't want this kingdom. I don't want to fight." And he says, "Why only this kingdom? Even if you were to offer all the three kingdoms, oh Krishna, I don't want to fight." And Krishna, you are Janardana, you are the maintainer of all living beings. So you should kill them. Since you are Madhusudana, like you have killed the demon Madhu and Kaitapa, you will not incur any sin. Why are you expecting me to indulge in this ghastly warfare and incur all the sin? Now, the Acharyas give us another very, very important learning. Arjuna is a devotee. He doesn't want to retaliate. Okay, we can understand this on one end. But Krishna, as the Supreme Lord, does not tolerate, does not pardon, does not let go any mischief against his devotees. And Kauravas had indulged in no mischief against Pandavas, and Krishna would not pardon them for that. This is the other understanding from this verse. Now, with this, if let us see, is this verse. What I will do, I will come to this video after the quiz. In the Zoom, it doesn't work. I can't move it to the point where I want. I will come out of this presentation and then show you the video. We'll now go through the quiz. I'm conscious that I have already started overstepping my time. Let's start with the quiz, Prabhuji. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead. And let me keep
Okay.
a watch on the fastest fingers first.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. And I will depend completely on you. You are the best judge. Who is the first?
I'm seeing on two
So,
screens. I hope I
yeah,
can.
perfect, Prabhuji. You will. So, welcome to the quiz, the most interesting part of the session. Name the first two reasons why Arjuna decided not to fight. Who will go first?
Ramesh.
Yes, Ramesha. Go ahead.
Why I should speak with relatives, even if there'll be no one to applaud or celebrate.
Say that again. Your voice is breaking.
Fighting with relatives, if I kill
Okay.
relatives, there'll be no one to celebrate or to applaud.
Can you tell the correct word for that? The essence is right,
Uh,
but there is a word for that. Krupa,
word.
Krupaya.
Okay.
Krupa is mercy. Krupaya is. So, what do we do, Prabhuji? Should we give him 50% or we give him 100%?
Uh, Prabhu, I think we should move to the next person and then we'll see if
Ah,
the somebody is going to complete. We want complete answer.
okay, fine. No, Varsha Kumari is raised her hand, right?
No, no. I think the next
No.
one was Srinidhi.
Okay, go ahead, Srinidhi.
Prabhuji, compassion and no enjoyment.
Ah, this is perfect right answer. Ramesha, so you
Perfect.
don't get full point for this. Srinidhi wins. The right answer is compassion, lack of enjoyment.
Wonderful.
Shall we go to the next question?
Yeah, I think
What
Ramesh
is the
ji,
meaning of,
lower the hand,
sorry,
please. Yeah, Ramesh ji can lower.
Ramesh?
Yeah.
Ah, yes, perfect. What is the meaning of nimittani viparitani? The clock starts now.
Again, Srinidhi.
Go ahead.
Prabhuji, frustration,
Frustration.
frustration or thinking why I'm here.
Frustration, thinking why I'm here. Okay. You are there, not fully. Anyone else want to go ahead and improve upon this answer?
Interested in himself or own welfare, Prabhuji.
Say that again.
Interested in himself or own welfare.
Again, you are there, but not fully. Anyone else who has the
Anjali has
right
raised her
answer?
hand. Let's hear from Anjali also.
Okay.
Yeah. Prabhuji, if a living entity thinks about himself, his material gains, then he will suffer. But if anyone who will serve Krishna, then it will be like that is the main purpose of that jiva, like that.
And now I understand that this is a slightly difficult question, but yes, you are describing it, but not actually the right answer. Anyone else would like to try?
Actually, there was an answer in your presentation. If somebody was alertly noting down, they could have
Yes.
pinpointed and given their answer. It's a very,
Yes.
it's a good question, and we need sharp answers,
Correct.
not lengthy answers. Just a word. There is a word for everything in Bhagavad Gita. Nimittani means what? Viparitani means what? Very simple.
Yes. Anyone else would like to try? So shall
Okay.
we hold this
No, no.
and
You
not
you
award the? Huh?
you can give the answer, but nobody gets mark. Nobody gets brownie points for this.
Perfect. The right answer is to see only causes of misfortune. That is the right answer. And this was there in my presentation too.
Yeah.
Or you can even give another, even if you had said opposite results.
Correct.
Actually, when you are in the war, what do you want? You want to win. And Arjuna is saying, I don't want to win, I want to, no, he's looking at the opposite end of what is likely to happen. That would also be the correct answer. But the right answer is to see only causes of misfortune. Let's go to the third question. What is the meaning of Janardana?
Srinidhi first, second Anusha. So Srinidhi first.
Maintainer of living entities.
Perfectly right. That's how it should be, It should be on target. Well done, Srinidhi. Fourth
Okay.
question. What is the meaning of Swajanam? Again, an easy one.
Yes. Again, Srinidhi. So I think what we'll do
Own
is,
relatives or
okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
own family members, Prabhuji.
Not clear. What you're saying?
Can't hear.
Own family members or own relatives.
Own relatives. Yes, right answer. We'll grant it to you. Near and dear ones, own kinsmen, own relatives. That's the right answer. Last question of the day.
I think one has to be very fast in the finger pressing.
So
And
Arjuna's compassion was due to. Now I am following Shamchandra Prabhuji's style. This time, no easy answers. You'll have to guess the answer. The first option is Krupaya Parayavishta. B. Adveshta Sarvabhutanam. C. Mahimsya Sarvabhutani. D. Hrudaya Dhaurbalyam. What was Arjuna's compassion due to? This is slightly
so,
tricky.
so Srini was first, but then I would request her, maybe we give a chance to Anjali because she is sweeping the floor already with
Right.
many points. So we will first give a chance to Anjali this time. And if she is not giving correct answer, then we'll go to Anusha and then we'll come back to Srinidhi. Is it okay, Srinidhi?
Perfect.
Okay. Anjali, please.
Prabhuji, D. Hridaya Durbalyam.
No, that's the wrong answer, Anjali.
So, Prabhu, don't reveal what is right. Just you can say that,
Okay.
then,
Right.
the person will come to know.
Got it.
Let's go to Anusha then.
A कृपया परयाविष्टिता.
Yes, that's the right answer. Well done, Anjali.
Very good.
So we grant it to you. So now, if there is time, I will try to play the video. If not, we can close the session. Or question and answers. I leave it to you all.
Maybe Q&A will be better, I think. If
Perfect.
anybody,
I don't want to extend it unnecessarily, so we'll spend the next few minutes on question answers.
yeah. So Anusha has raised her hand. So please go ahead.
Yes, Anusha, go ahead.
You can
Hare
stop the
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Prabhu, you can stop the screen share.
Stop the screen clear. Okay,
Hmm.
perfect.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anusha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
So I have two doubts with respect to two main points that you had mentioned. Both are practical questions. Point number one. So you had mentioned that Arjuna was often overwhelmed by soft-heartedness. All right. So
Yeah.
we can position ourselves in Arjuna many a times, and we find this could be a strength as well as a weakness. So at what point do we understand that we have to be practical and not soft-hearted in practical situations? And because Arjuna needs the valor and courage to step in also, at the same time he's very soft-hearted. We also are stuck in such situations sometimes. Second question is with respect to, with your permission, material conditions are enveloping us and they're consuming us. And you had mentioned that we should, go out of that ambit of I, me, and myself. So, but on a practical plane, we generally do things for ourselves and then we think about others. But in what context are you mentioning this, Prabhuji? If you can please throw light on it. Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Your questions are very long, so I will try to digest the question first and then give you the answer. The first part of the question is soft-heartedness. Many a times we are like in Arjuna's condition, and we try to do what we want to do because we are soft-hearted. Now here I must say we must be humble. Krupa, krupaya, mercy, compassion. look simple, but there is a huge distance between the two. Our compassion should not be driven by any material considerations. That is the first guardrail. Our compassion should be born out of genuine love, genuine affection to the cause. Then we can call ourselves being soft hearted. If we are trying to show compassion to our own relatives, because there is something, if I do this, I get something else in return, then that is not being soft hearted. Soft hearted is a qualification that Arjuna qualified, and Srila Prabhupada says he qualified. So this is not a very easy qualification for us to have. We must attempt. Many times we feel we are there. We must question and then make sure that, yes, I am really being selfless when I'm being soft hearted. This is the first point. Now, second question I want you to repeat again. What is that?
We consume by I, me, myself. Prayers.
How do we
Shreyas,
step out of that?
prayers, basically. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, this is the whole purpose of going through Gita. Like Arjuna, we are all confused. What do we do when we don't understand? Consult, seek, and surrender. Because just asking a question for asking sake doesn't give us the answer. Even why did Arjuna excel in this journey of Gita? Because he says at the end of the chapter, of the end of Gita, I am completely surrendered unto you, Krishna. I have understood everything. I will do what you say. So, stepping out of me and mine is a journey. We should try, we must attempt, we must seek help, support, we must surrender to go there. Is it easy? Not easy. It is impossible. Is it impossible? No, it is not impossible. So we must make the effort and we must have clarity and humility that this doesn't come easy. It will happen. It can happen. We are all here listening to Gita as students because we are interested in having that bridge that gap from me and mine to ours. Everything is Lord's and we are here to serve. If you can come to that conclusion, we have reached there. But is it going to happen tomorrow, day after tomorrow? That is something which is not in our hands. We must strive selflessly to reach the goal. That's my answer, Mataji. Hare Krishna, you're on mute. I'm so happy to see you having a small kid on your lap and listening to Gita lesson. God bless you. Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Looks like everybody is fully clear, crystal clear from this session. Oh, there's one hand raised by Varsha.
Go ahead, Varsha Mataji.
Thank you so much for this wonderful class. Prabhuji, as it was mentioned in the PPT that Gita highlights the power of what we say, it can completely alter how to say it. Can you please explain this statement once more?
Right. See, this is again deep philosophy. So when we let's look at Arjuna's example. Arjuna enters the battlefield. He comes in a great chariot, Bhavya chariot, and he is normal. He is completely balanced. I am here as a Kshatriya to fight. So Gita says, I am seeing what I am supposed to see. Few verses down the line, he says, Visidahan abrvit, idam abrvit. I am overwhelmed by compassion, and he starts lamenting. So Gita is also showing us that if you get into emotional corner, emotions, you allow emotions to override you, then what you have seen, the scene has not changed. None of the relatives have moved, or none of the relatives, no one has been added, no one has been subtracted. The battlefield remains constant. Nothing has changed in the few minutes, but there's a huge change in Arjuna. That is what is Gita trying to tell you, that if you allow emotions to affect you, overrule you, overwhelm you, then you can get bewildered. So emotions are a part and parcel of us. You cannot take away emotions and say that, okay, sir, for this minute, I am now going to be completely unemotional. That is not possible. But we must be aware that I am not what I am because of my emotions. So I must step back. And that's where humility plays a role. If you were to understand that you don't have the answers to all the questions, that itself is a big leap of faith. Many a times, most of the times, we always say, that I am in this situation and I know what to do. And this is the only way to do it. Then we get into trouble. This is what Gita is trying to teach us. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so there were few new names we saw today, uh, but unfortunately, I'm not able to see those names now. So if anybody knows these people, then we want to include them in the group. One name I saw was Amrutavali. Does anybody know who is Amrutavali? Has anybody invited her? Other name was Krishna Vallika. Krishna
Prabhuji,
Vallika.
she is my classmate.
Okay. So can you give her number so that we can add her in the Gita Amritam group? Okay.
Yes.
Then Shruti Rana, I think she's still there. Shruti Rana ji, can you introduce yourself, how you came to know about this?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I came in the meeting through Varsha Mataji. She worshiped my.
Okay. So maybe your number can be forwarded. We will include your name because I don't think you're included in the group yet. Then there was one
Yes, Prabhu.
person. Thank you. There's one person by the name. It was actually some Telugu name, but then there was HK written after that, and I don't find him now, him or her. So I don't know who that person was. But in case if anybody knows, then please request. Then Suresh iPad. There was Suresh iPad. Anybody knows Suresh? Who is Suresh?
There is
All
one
right.
Suresh whom I know, that is Suresh Mandare.
No, I think he comes as a full name.
Okay, okay, okay.
This was like Suresh iPad. Unless he's the same Suresh, I don't know.
I don't know. He's not there now.
Now he's not there. Now he's not
Okay,
there.
okay.
Okay. So before we conclude, let's give a big round of applause for Srinidhi because she has topped today. Only in one session, she has got 150 brownie points. My God, that's
My
unbelievable.
goodness. Well done.
Unbelievable. And, you know, she got into this race only last week. Till that time, Anjali was miles ahead. Anjali is still, I think, around 300 points. 250 earlier and now 50 today, 300. And Srinidhi is fast catching up. Maybe 150 today, and before it was 100 probably. So 250, my God. She's racing very fast. And congratulations to Anusha also. She also got 50 points today. So may this inspire more participants to participate actively, attentively, and let us take this as inspiration. And hopefully next week we'll get some new persons who can challenge Srinidhi in the brownie points and also Anjali. Okay, so anything else you want to add, Prabhu? Or shall we?
No, nothing from my side.
A word of
Since you
thanks.
have all seen the video, I don't think we must spend time
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, and I think what you can do is in the group, you can give the link, or I can forward the link because one Mataji had asked me the link. I've already forwarded her. So maybe
Oh,
I'll
yes, we
forward
can
that in
post
the
it.
group so everybody can see at their leisure time.
Sure.
And
We
a
can.
word of appreciation for Sham Sundar Prabhu. He's right now in Washington, D.C. It's very early morning there. He's visiting his children. And early morning, he has got up and he's put in efforts to present all this. So really great effort from his side. And we are very happy with, such sincere efforts of devotion. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna to all of you.
Okay, so until a lot of folded hands are going up in there, all the sides. So until next time, next Saturday, may we all have a good weekend and a good week ahead, fully immersed in Krishna consciousness in whatever field we are in, whatever activities we are doing, whether we are students or we are professional or housewives or grasta, whatever areas we are doing, let us all keep focused on Krishna consciousness, and may this torch of Bhagavad Gita show us in some new horizons this week. And maybe we'll plan something. I want to hear some, maybe one person will pick a week where maybe 5 minutes that person can share based on the learnings of Bhagavad Gita, how he or she was able to correlate to some event that happened in that week or maybe the previous week. And then that's how Bhagavad Gita was, he or she was able to correlate or, link to Bhagavad Gita. It'll be nice. So I'll make it a point to end at maybe start at 7 and end at 7:50. And 10 minutes we'll have this kind of nice interaction. So this will make it, more enterprising also. All right? Because we want more people to participate somehow. We are not able to get more than 20, 22 average. The first 1 or 2 weeks we got 30, 35 plus, but now it's gradually coming down, which is expected. That is Bhagavad Gita for you. But then when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, they say, So hopefully we'll find some innovative ways to keep it interesting also. Okay. And if anybody has some thoughts, please share. This is a platform for everyone. I appreciate Srinidhi. She came forward, Prabhu. She volunteered to make the flyer for you. So the flyer that we made,
Fantastic.
that was made by Srinidhi.
Hare, thank you very much.
Yes, very nice. All right, so we'll end the session now, and then Hare Krishna to everyone. We'll meet next week.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. I'm closing the call now.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.